What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with another quick video. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some axles, mostly these portals, just kind of comparing these, but just in general I've had a lot of problems with axles lately. I am so sick of swapping axles on my trucks, it's just unreal. But so you guys may have seen, I don't know, I broke one of the Super 8s. The housing just snapped. So Little Guy Racing they've been super to work with. They sent me another one. And then I bought their CVDs because everybody knows the dog bones is an issue on these things. And as far as I know, I'm the first one that's had this problem, but I did want to let it be known that my first run with the CVDs, the pin here came out. Hope you can see that pin. It came out and bent, and it's like I'm gonna have to take that apart, see if I can put it in the vise and try to maybe bend it back. They said they would send me another one, that they had one do that in testing, but I was the first customer they had known to have that issue. So you know, maybe it's something that's not gonna happen, but I wanted to let you guys know. There, you can see it better, hopefully. See how it's sticking out just a little bit? That's because it's bent. It came way out and it bent, and it actually ate into the axle housing a little bit before I realized it. And it was bent pretty good. I got it all the way back in except for that, and I just can't get it to line up to come out the other side. Like I said, they've been great to work with. I'm not trying to bash them. This is all new stuff. They're still sorting it out and everything. They do have some retainers that they're going to be coming out with for these to keep that from happening. So once that's out, I'll reinstall these. But for now, I'm done messing with swapping axles every day. So the Mofo portals, I've had trouble with them too. You know, it's hard for me to get all this stuff and like take it out of the package and give you guys an honest review. I try my best, but I got to get some time with stuff before I find issues like this. But I will always let it be known when I do have problems. You know, I can't take something like this out of the package and tell you it's going to run perfect for 6-8 months, you know, like until I've put that time on it. I don't know. So one of my concerns when I did my initial review on them was no bearings anywhere in here, and I think that's kind of become a problem with these. So you can see this side here, hopefully when I kind of turn this real easy with my hand, you can see that the cup inside there is actually turning. Like, see that? This side I can't get it to turn. It's binding in there, not moving at all. And I think what's happening is that brass is wore down where this is not resting against the bearing. It's kind of hard to show, but where this is not resting against a bearing, I think that's kind of wore down, and that's pushing down in there too far. Because you see this here, watch this. See how much that pushed in? So there's all that play in there because there's no bearing there for that to sit against. And even if I push that back, it still doesn't help it. So it's just binding in there. I pulled it apart and took it out, looked at it, but when I put it back together, it just does the same thing. I even got some grease in there. It's just one of those things. It just happened. There should have been bearings in there, to be honest, and that's part of it. I don't know. Anyways, took those off, tossing those in the bin, I'm over axles right now, I'm telling you. So that comes to the RC all-wheel drive here. I'm hoping, man, I hope these are good. They seem good so far, as long as they're strong, you know. And that'll be something I'll just have to get time with before I can be honest with you guys. But Everything seems to be super smooth. These actually have like a CVD style axle inside of there. You really can't see it, but there is a pin in there just like these. So hopefully we don't have that same issue. They look like it would be a little harder for that pin to come out, but I mean, it can always happen, I guess. But one thing I wanted to talk about, just installing these, see how free that is? Like how it should be, really. Everything feels good. And I don't have the outer bearings in here yet, but one issue I always kind of had with these is that's really tight and it's hard to show you on camera, but I think you can see how that's not moving as easily as this is. So that's really good to start out with. So these are looking solid. Like I said, it's, you know, I got to get some time with them. So don't kill me if you get some and something happens. I did have my very first one and they were quick to replace it, but I was checking grease inside of all of these for the gears. I did put some grease in them because there's not a lot. I was going to pull the steering link to pull these screws and get inside of here, and that screw snapped off because when I contacted them, they said they use a glue. I assume it's like a red Loctite or something, but I mean, I didn't even start to turn it and it was snapped off. So just be careful. You're supposed to heat those. They say heat that a little bit before you try to remove that screw. So that's something to keep an eye on. So I would be very careful if you go to remove a screw. I didn't have any problem with these out here. They were fine. But I would say all of these in the steering, if you go to remove those, maybe heat them up a little bit before you do. So good thing is I have spares. And this actually looks like a different design. So that's interesting. Check this out. That's like a dog bone style. Can you guys see that? It's like a dog bone in there. These are not. These are like CVDs. So that is awesome. I didn't realize they had two different ones they were selling, honestly. I haven't really looked. I was kind of over Portals. Wasn't going to run them, but they offered to send me these to test, so we're going to do that. So I'm trying to get them installed on this killer chassis build. I have not got to run this truck at all. Like every time I run it, something goes wrong with it. Something breaks, and so it's not the chassis fault, just issues. But hopefully we'll get these installed on here and get some runtime with it. I'm going to go ahead and throw the rears on, and we will get some running footage, and then I'll keep running them, and hopefully I can get you guys a real good, honest review on them. Just wanted to show those couple things and let it be known some of the issues I've had with some of the others. And yeah, that's about all I know. Like I said, I try to be honest about this stuff. They've all been cool to work with and taking care of me, but it's kind of aggravating when you're changing your axles constantly. Like, I want to run this truck, so I keep swapping from axle to axle, and everything just keeps going wrong. So I'm hoping I can get these on and be set. So we're going to find out. Let's get them installed, take one final look, and then we'll run them. So you see the weight of the rear portal axle here, 45.2. This is the stock with the Mofo portal on it. Here is the RC all-wheel drive front, 62.2 grams. And here's the Mofo with, it does have an aluminum housing there, so it's a little bit heavier. But that's just the weight comparisons. I just kind of want to show you guys what we're working with here before going over the full review of these. But you do want to check to make sure there's grease in there. I think you can tell there looks like nothing in there, honestly. So I would definitely add some grease to that. You know, I love the fit of these, and they seem like they're going to be really good, but you do need that grease. And then you can kind of see there the CVD style axle versus the dog bone. I mean, that's going to be awesome as long as that pin don't come out. It looks like the way they've designed this, the bearing kind of rests there and will help hold that pin in, hopefully. So, I mean, if that's the case, like, that's very smart on their part. It's like genius. So we're gonna hope that is the case. We're gonna get some grease in there. I was really pulling this apart because I feel like I need the overdrive in the front. I got this together, I had to take it out and run just for a minute just to see how it ran. And man, raising that center of gravity with the portals, it does make a big difference, in my opinion, how a truck performs. So I felt like I needed the overdrive in the front to help a little bit, kind of pull that front, keep it down. So that's what I was gonna do. Figured while I was pulling this apart, I'd show you guys what we had here. Like I said, so far, they seem to be great. It seems like you get a really good turning angle with these CVDs versus the dog bones. You know, with the dog bones, you can only turn so far and then they're coming out and getting in a bind and stuff. So if these work and the pin don't come out, that's almost worth the money just for that, in my opinion, honestly. So I hope they make some straight axles with those. I'm gonna let them know that. So just wanted to show you guys, definitely probably want to check the grease though. It looks like there's a little bit of grease inside here, which should be plenty, but there was none here, so I'm gonna put a little in there. So the only issue I really found with these, it's kind of a good thing, but then it's kind of makes it odd also, but these have a little more thread than like your stock axles. Show you here. They have just a little bit more, if you can tell. So that's actually nice, because when you're putting the wheel nuts on, like you can see, I have this wheel nut that's all tight, and it's actually getting to the lock nut part of it, you know, whereas a lot of times we have trouble with our wheel nuts falling off all the time. But it does make it a little bit hard when trying to swap wheels quickly. You may have to run like some spacers or something. You can see that is tight, but we've got that wobble because I'll show you. The shoulder on the axle here sticks up a little bit too far with these wheels and this hex. So you just have to kind of figure out what's going to work for you, but see how that sits. So these are the hex that come with it. Even like these hex, see how far that goes on there? So that won't really work. I mean, you can just put a spacer here or something, but a washer, but your Treal extended, these +5mm, I run those a lot. The only problem with them is you actually have a little bit too much thread sticking up, so when you tighten your barrel nut down for those, it bottoms out and you still get that play in there. So probably gonna need like some little small washers or something there. Kind of just depends what wheels you're running. These worked with the hex that came with it. You have a lot of leftover thread, but that's better than not enough. So it really kind of depends what wheels you're running, but the Treals seem to be a little odd fit. These RC four-wheel drives, the Steelies, I have them mounted backwards. They worked Kind of looks like it wouldn't almost, but they did. I put them on there. So it just varies. It depends. But just so you know that. It is nice having that extra thread though, because our wheel nuts may actually stay on now. All right, so you guys will see, I've been using this outdoor course quite a bit for testing. Honestly, because it's a lot harder on stuff. The little amount of time I've had this set up, I have broken more stuff on it than I have the entire time I've owned my indoor course. So, you know, I'm really excited about being able to test durability for you guys with this stuff. You know, these big rocks, they don't give. When you drop down in a hole, like right here in this front left is going to drop in this hole. You know, this is not a real bad situation, but it still could become one easily. And, you know, that's where things break. You know, the stock dog bones, I've bent those on this, making these same little kind of runs. That's where I broke my Super 8 housing. It's where my Super 8 CVD, the pin just came out and bent first run across these things. So I was a little let down with that. You know, so in my opinion, this is the perfect place to test durability for you guys. I got to say, these axles so far, no issues. And I've been running this pretty hard, trying to put it in some tight spots. You know, you'll see some of these lines coming across these rocks, like it gets in some tight situations, and that's where things break. And not a single issue with these axles. I broke a drive shaft because I was in such a bind that it just ripped and pulled the drive shaft. So, you know, that's saying something for these axles, you know, and I'm being a little extra rough on it. You know, I don't put it in a hole and just cram on it trying to break it, but I do try to save the line and make it through. So if there's any possible way, I'm gonna make the line work. But you know, that's when things break. But so far, these axles have been great. This exact line right here is where I broke several things. You get pinched between these two rocks trying to make this right here work, and you know, it gets in a bind sometimes. And coming out of here as well, like your front end goes down in this hole, and just from here on out, you're in a tight spot. You know, even right there, you can see it's pulling on that rear because it lifts the front. Don't pay no attention to my body. I've got that fastened down now. But overall, super pleased with these axles. I got to say, I mean, they've made it longer than any of my others. And one of the things I like about these is I wasn't a big fan of the gear reduction on the Mofo Portals. I still got good wheel speed with these, and you'll see on this little climb right here, sometimes you just need a little bump. And, you know, I was still able to get that and get over that rock. So, you know, this stuff doesn't look all that tough on camera. Nothing ever does. But there's some pretty good little climbs right here. So, overall, I'm really pleased with how this truck's doing. Hyrax, always a top performer. And starting to enjoy this killer chassis. You know, I haven't been able to run this truck. Every time I take it out, something breaks. So I'm hoping it's finally on the right track with these RC all-wheel drive Portals. And we'll continue to see where this thing goes. It needs tuning. Haven't even started to do anything with like shocks or anything, just running stock shocks. And pretty pleased with it, actually. So we'll see where it goes. If you guys need anything, definitely let me know. I'll get you a link from A-Main, Amazon, whatever. It all helps out the channel. I appreciate everybody watching. Tons of stuff coming, guys. Working on the Bronco. More to come with it. And like I said, we're going to be going to Beat the Creek here coming up soon. And they're supposed to have like a 24 crawling course. So I'm hoping to hit that as well. And just have a lot of fun there. So you guys let me know if you need anything. I appreciate everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Click the bell so you get notified when I post these vids, and I appreciate everybody. Peace.